In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a very unique and one-of-a-kind bowl. You're going to be surprised at what I make it with and how I do it. So if you want to learn how to do it, well, then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, and the project I have for you today, I don't even know, like it was so random. I was sound asleep, woke up, and had this idea of pipe cleaners and Plaster of Paris. Who knows where that came from? I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. Even through the filming of this video, wasn't sure if it was gonna work. So you will be kind of learning with me as I go and some trial and error stuff, which I think it's great that we can learn together on some of these things. So it doesn't always look like, you know, the YouTuber does it perfectly and then the rest of you struggle. So we're gonna learn together on this one. The end result is really, really cool. I think it's very chic and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of designer too. I'm really excited about it. Before I get to showing it to you though, you know the drill. I would love it if you join our Glue Dot family by hitting the subscribe button right down there and the bell next to it, and that will inform you every time I upload a new video. Well, it's supposed to anyway. Also, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up or let me know what you think too in the comments about this project. Is it something you think you might try? I really hope you do. And if you do try it, down in that description box below, you're gonna find links for how to contact me or to even show you where you can post your pictures of your projects that you do. Also, you'll find what you're gonna need for this project and also a link to enter to win a really cute little bling owl keychain. And I do that drawing the first of every month. So get down there, check that out, watch this video, let me know what you think, and let's go do it. Okay, so one of the first things we're gonna do to get started with this is cover the bowl in your plastic wrap. Then we're gonna be taking our pipe cleaners, and this is where we're gonna start forming the design of our bowl when it's finished. So this is gonna be something you're gonna sort of just play with and see how you want it to come together. I don't think there necessarily has to be any rhyme or reason to it. I'm just gonna crisscross my pipe cleaners here, and if you do crisscross them once in each direction so that everything is really solid. Otherwise those things wobble around a lot, and they don't necessarily have to be even. You just sort of place it on your bowl wherever you want. This is going to be kind of a hard one to describe, I guess, because it is really dependent on you and your style, and just I'm not even sure exactly how I'm working on this. So I'm going to be making some little leaf kind of designs here by folding over my pipe cleaner and just doing some little shapes. You can do other shapes if you choose, whatever works for you, and figure out how you want to attach, where you want to attach them, I should say. And anywhere you have a joint wrapped. So this one I wrapped around, but you can see it still teeters back and forth this way. So what I'm going to be doing is also going the opposite direction with the other pipe cleaner. You're going to do this until you get whatever shape and design and style you like for your bowl. You can make some crimps in it if you'd like, and just keep attaching your pipe cleaners. And then every time you add a new shape, kind of, you know, see where it is on your bowl and keep adding to it. Eventually these are going to all need to attach somehow, that when we do take them off of our bowl, that they still kind of hold the shape. I know this looks really strange right now. And in my head, it turns out great. So let's just hope that it's going to turn out like it is in my head. Probably should have gotten a different color bowl for you guys to be able to see this. I'm just going to throw a t-shirt on top of it so you can get an idea, so that you can see the shape I've got so far. This t-shirt is just strictly so you guys can see the color, nothing more. So you can see this doesn't really seem to be making much sense or rhyme or reason, but I'm continuing to just add on pieces, just different shapes, different angles, some leaves, some swirls. So you can do it very angular if you'd like. I tend to really like more rounded shapes. I don't know, it's just maybe a personality thing, who knows? Doesn't this look weird? I know you're probably wondering, where is she going with this? What in the world is going on here? You can even do this in a spider web design for Halloween if you want to. You may want to use pliers or something if you're doing some of these ends, because this wire is a bit pokey and could be definitely easier with some pliers. As you go around, just keep looking for any empty spaces. You don't want the spaces in between to be too big, because the more space, the less integrity your bowl will have, and it will be easier to break. So we just want to try and have plenty going on, like over on this side, how there's a lot of different shapes and a lot of stuff, and the closer knit, if you will. I mean, I don't know what else to call it, but just some more action. We like some action going on. It's kind of starting to take shape. What do you guys think? I know this seems so weird, but this is something where you're just going to use your own creativity. It's not something that I can really walk you through. It's just something you're going to have to kind of play with on your own and go for it. And you know what? Bottom line is, guys, all it is a little bit of time and a few pipe cleaners, and, you know, don't be afraid to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone and just go for it. You can do it. I have faith in you, and we can do amazing things if we just allow ourselves to. I always tell my kids, and one of my favorite sayings, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So just go for it and think you can, because then you can. It's so easy to tell ourselves that we can't do something, but you know, you can. You really, really can. Just try, and don't beat yourself up if things don't come out exactly how you want them. You guys have seen me many times before. If you're subscribers to my channel and watch very much, you see that I show my mistakes in there too. So we all make them. Just who cares? Go for it. No one expects you to be perfect except yourself, and that's way too much pressure. So just have fun. Okay, so you can see I pretty much have my bowl covered here. And I like the way it is. The next step we're gonna do is we're gonna be putting the plaster of Paris on this to kind of firm up all of this and start to form our bowl. Okay, now's the part where we get to get a little bit messy. I took some plastic and put it down. This is just a couple of gallon-sized Ziploc bags that I cut in half and taped together. You can use a garbage bag or any piece of plastic. So I have here my plaster of Paris and a glass of just cold water from the sink, and then an extra cup to mix in, and I'm going to be using a chopsticks to stir this all up with. So first of all, we're going to get in there and get about, I think this, just to give you an idea, I mean, I don't really measure per se, but this is about a 1/4 cup of plaster of Paris. And we're just going to start adding in water and mixing it up until it has the consistency of like runny-ish toothpaste. So you don't want it to be too runny, but then you don't want it also to be so thick and goopy that it fills everything, fills all up and dries quick, and you know. And you might want to wear gloves. I like getting my fingers all in stuff. I like to be able to feel what I'm doing, so I'm not going to wear gloves. And you may need a couple batches of this. I don't know. I'm really not sure how much it's going to take at this point because we're doing this together. I don't know. We'll see. We may need a little more. So this is a good consistency here. I don't know how well you can tell that, but it's pancake batter or something like that. That would probably be something good to describe it like. Here is my piece that I'm going to be putting over this. and we're going to be working on covering all of the pipe cleaners with this Plaster of Paris mixture. So we are going to want to get both sides of it, and this will give you an idea when this is facing upward what your bowl is going to actually look like. So I think what I'm going to be doing first is starting on this underside and just getting you got to get your fingers in there. I don't know how else to do it, but you're going to get your fingers all in there and goop this on, because we want this to cover all of our pipe cleaner really thoroughly. So I'm definitely going to be needing more of my Plaster of Paris mixture. So if I had to guess, I would say I've mixed about a cup or so of the Plaster of Paris, and just keep adding water till you get your consistency right. So it's best to mix enough right from the get-go, because if you don't mix enough, then you have messy hands and messy everything, and it just makes it a little harder. And then carry on, just dipping and getting it all over. So it's kind of like finger painting. I feel like I'm a kid again. Woohoo! You really want it to soak in to your pipe cleaners, because this is what's going to give it the strength. Probably should have taken my jewelry off first, but I didn't really think about that. Maybe my next video will be on how to clean jewelry. So keep going around, make sure that everything is thoroughly soaked. And once you do all that, we're going to be putting it back onto our bowl, which is covered with the saran wrap. Plaster of Paris is pretty inexpensive, guys, so don't worry about using plenty of it and making plenty. You may end up throwing some of it away, but it's really very reasonably priced. I mean, I've used this container of it for several projects, and I still have lots left. Okay, so once you get all that on there, really carefully try and lift this. It's going to be sort of heavy, and put it back on top of your bowl. Make sure you kind of reshape things where you want them, because once this dries, that is where it's going to stay. It's kind of like doing mud pies when you were a kid, right? If you didn't like that then, and you still don't like getting dirty and goopy, you're not going to like this, but just wear gloves. It's a really cool project. Now you definitely don't want to do this Plaster of Paris while it's on the bowl, because otherwise it's all gonna fill in and it's gonna kind of lose its effect a little bit. If you have little spots you kind of want to touch up, that's fine. Like I have a couple spots here I feel like could use a little more Plaster of Paris, but whatever is on the plastic is also going to dry, and you don't want that to stick to your pipe cleaners. The less we get on there, the less we'll have to clean later. Really scope it out for any spots that may not have gotten the Plaster of Paris on it, because those not only will show the pipe cleaner through, but they're going to be kind of weak spots in your project and in your bowl later. And now, as always, the hardest part is letting this dry and not messing with it before it is dry. So we'll get back to it once it's dry, you guys. I'm super excited. Okay, it's dry. I'm so excited. So when you are going to remove this, you have to be really careful because it is still in a little bit of a fragile state. Make sure it's really dry. It's actually been a couple days for me because I just was busy. But when you're pulling it apart, it's not just going to easily lift off. If there's a couple spots you need to kind of press against carefully and work it, and you just work it and work it, which I kind of did that a little bit ahead, and then go ahead and pull it off. And there you have it. I love it. So if you look closely at it, you're going to see some spaces that are filled in. So we want to kind of go at that stuff. If you still have your chopstick that you use for stirring, you can kind of use that a little, but be careful. The other thing is you can use a fingernail file if some of those pieces are a little too thick maybe, and they won't just easily knock off with your chopstick or your finger. So go around and do that. And then what we're going to be doing is mixing up a little bit more of our Plaster Paris, and we're going to be going over some of the areas that are still maybe flexible, like this area here is for me. I don't know if you guys can see that. And filling in kind of anywhere that we may have missed. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of these little extra yuckies that I don't want on there, and then I will get to showing you how we're going to kind of reinforce some of those other spots. Okay, so I've got all my little pieces cleaned off, and what I'm going to be doing now is we're going to start on the inside of the bowl, and I've mixed up my extra Plaster of Paris here, and I've got a brush. This one, I don't know, just any brush will do. I just grabbed this one. It's a little bit stiffer. You can probably use a smaller brush, and then any areas that you see inside that still have some space, you're gonna have to work not super quick, but you know, moderately at a decent pace to fill in any little gaps or any parts of the pipe cleaner that you're still seeing. And this is what's gonna really strengthen this so that it's not really fragile. So you may be able to see here how this is still showing a lot of the pipe cleaner on this particular one. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of fill that in around underneath and kind of on the sides. We're gonna be, once we get the whole underside kind of taken care of, we'll flip it over and do the top side. Now I do like the texture, so I'm not necessarily trying to cover up the texture. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not seeing pipe cleaner and that that texture is the Plaster of Paris on the pipe cleaner. If your Plaster of Paris is starting to thicken up too quickly, just add a little bit of water into it before it gets the opportunity to get too thick, because after that, too late. There's not much you can do about it. So any parts that are wobbly, like this is still pretty wobbly, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I really reinforce that, not only from the inside, but the outside as well. Making it a little runnier is a good idea when we're reinforcing, because it dries up really quickly and thickens once it touches this other base that's already on there. It almost like it just absorbs that moisture right in there. And stir, keep stirring, make sure that that Plaster of Paris doesn't just fall all to the bottom. Again, work quickly. I mean, don't stress yourself out, but work quickly. And if you need a little more time and you see it's thickening up too fast, just keep adding water. So just continue on, get this whole underside done, and then we'll flip to the other side. This way you can kind of stand this so it can start drying on the underside while you work on the top side. So I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of learning here with you guys as I'm going along. Do mix small batches at a time, because it really does start to thicken up quickly. Just don't mix too big of a batch, because you're going to get frustrated and have to throw it away and remix. So I'm actually going to mix a new batch so that I can start. I just want to show you the difference between what the inside looks like that has already been touched up and what the outside looks like. You can see there's a lot more texture and stuff to it, but we do want to fill that in to give the bowl some integrity. Okay, so now comes the really hard part, which is hitting the like button and letting me know that you're enjoying this video. Also, really the hard part for me is waiting for this to dry. We're almost done. We're gonna let this dry. I've done both sides, and that's it. And we're gonna be painting this and then looking at it and seeing what we've created. Every one is gonna be unique and different, so I'm really excited and hope you guys will take this project on and make it so I can see what yours looks like. All right. Here's what I got so far. I'm debating if I want to paint it turquoise colored, sort of to go as an accessory for my kitchen, or if I want to do it silver. Not so sure yet, but you'll see.